What happens if you file taxes as single when you're actually married? Well, depending on the facts and circumstances, you could be committing perjury. And to put it even more bluntly, you could be committing a crime with IRS penalties ranging as high as $250,000 and 3 years in jail. So, whatever advantage you think you'll be gaining by filing as single is probably not enough to make those penalties look like a good risk. So join me on the other side where we'll talk about what your real filing options are if you're married on December 31st of any given year. Welcome to Tax Chit Chat, the place where we talk all things tax all the time. How does the IRS determine filing status? Filing status is determined by your marital status on December 31st of any given year. So whatever you are on that particular day determines what you file on the tax return for the entire year. So, never married, then you'll probably file as single. Married, then you have the option to either file with your spouse using the married filing jointly status or separately using married filing separately. Not single. What if you're divorced or legally separated? Then stick around as I've got some special rules for you. Married filing joint. If you're married, you and your spouse can often file a joint tax return. And if your spouse died during the tax year, meaning 2021 in the taxes that we're filing in 2022, you can also file a joint tax return for that particular year. What this status means is that you're choosing to file with your spouse. You'll combine your income and deductions and will either get a refund together or owe together. This status typically is best from a tax standpoint because it results in either the largest refund or the smallest balance due. But sometimes you don't want to or shouldn't file with your spouse. Married filing separately. A married couple can choose to file two separate tax returns. This is where each spouse reports their own income and deductions and will separately get their own refund or owe the IRS individually. So this is typically a good option if you want to be responsible only for your own tax or if it results in less tax owed than if you file a joint tax return. But once again, this is not filing as single, it's married filing separately. But you're probably going to want to prepare your taxes both ways before you choose. Now, what if you're divorced or separated? Divorced or separated. If on December 31st you are divorced or legally separated under a decree of divorce or separate maintenance, or are separated under a written separation agreement, you can be considered unmarried for IRS purposes and use the single filing status. Now, if you are married and have a dependent, but your spouse didn't live with you for the last 6 months of the year, then you may qualify to use the head of household filing status. We're going to do a video specifically on HOH in a few weeks, and it will be linked right here once it's out. Now, what about those IRS penalties I talked about? IRS penalties. Under 26 U.S. Code Section 7206, fraud and false statements, one commits an offense when they willfully make a false declaration under penalties of perjury. And guess what? Everyone signs page 2 of their tax return stating that under penalties of perjury, I declare that I have examined this return and to the best of my knowledge and belief, they are true, correct, and complete. So, if you file your tax return as single when you don't meet the IRS definition, then you just committed perjury and can be fined up to $250,000 and sent to jail for up to 3 years. Not worth it in my opinion, I'm just saying. But if you're married and want to know when you might absolutely 100% unequivocally not want to file your taxes with your spouse and use the married filing separately status instead, then make sure you check out this video. And until we meet again, remember to keep earning, keep learning, and just like that, this chat is adjourned.